Hello and welcome to another episode of Sherv's Garage. Videographer, where are you? Hello? Oh, hi. This car is so big, I kind of got lost behind it. Welcome everybody to another episode. Today, I'm reviewing a 2022 Cadillac Escalade, the most luxurious and biggest platform that Cadillac and GM essentially makes in the United States. This particular vehicle is a short wheelbase or regular Cadillac Escalade. It's not the long wheelbase, and it sports a 6.2 liter V8 producing approximately 420 horsepower, which is pretty good for the size of the engine. If you guys remember when I reviewed the Lexus LX 570, it had a V8, but it was only making approximately 400 horsepower. But the specs are sort of similar, but this car is a lot heavier than the Toyota Land Cruiser or the Lexus LX 570. This car also tows up to 7,000 pounds. It weighs over 6,000 pounds, and it's an extremely comfortable car. It has an independent rear suspension, and in a more or higher trim levels, you get air suspension, air ride with automatic damping, which is absolutely a gorgeous feature as well to have for a very soft and smooth ride. Uh, Even with this platform that we are looking at today, the independent rear suspension does a great job, and it's really cool to drive this car. Very comfortable, very sporty sometimes. If you push the gas pedal, there is that roar of the engine. The V8 comes to the cabin of the car, and it sounds really good. This is the Cadillac Escalade 600, which is essentially the torque of the engine being produced in Newton meters measurement. So it's approximately 623 Newton meters, and that's why the GM decided to call this particular model the Cadillac Escalade 600. There is a Platinum model, and there is a Escalade V, which stands for vroom vroom. No, I'm just joking. That's for Mazda, but that's for essentially a lot more horsepower, which that model produces 680 horsepower, which is humongous, and it sports a supercharger on top of the V8. There is another model that they offer. It's a turbo diesel. It's an inline six, 3-liter engine, which has less power but has higher fuel efficiency, which is some people may like. I particularly like the gas consumption version of it compared to the diesel. Let's take a look at the exterior features of this car and explain what's going on. GM engineers have spent a lot of times to really upgrade this model. The very first Escalade that came out was in 1999, and it was competing with the Lincoln Navigator. But more people showed more affection and satisfaction with the Escalade models because of the comfort and more luxury options that this car was offering at the time. And according to GM, 60% of all customers who buy GM products, or especially who buys Cadillac models, they would love to have Escalade models, no matter which trim of it, but about 60%, which is a high number for production of a car that GM is successfully capable of selling. So, as I was mentioning, this particular vehicle has a lot of chrome trim around the vehicle, chrome wheels, 22-inch rims. Uh, Even though they are 22-inch rims, they're still very comfortable. Very nice suspension. And what is cool is the shape of the lights. And also in many different portions of the vehicle, they have added the shape of the V essentially for that iconic look of the Cadillac Escalade, which I'm going to point at them when we go through the details. Here in the front, we're looking at a large grille with a large Cadillac emblem, which is absolutely gorgeous. In some models, I have seen them to be highlighting, or there's a light behind these that they will shine through. I'm not sure if this particular model does it, but this huge grill, again, as we talked about previous episodes, the grills of the cars are getting bigger and bigger, but obviously it's for more air suction through the radiators and aerodynamics of the vehicle. So if we look from, for example, this angle, there is a slope here and then it cuts off. On the top, there is a slope and cuts off. Even in the fog light areas, there is a section that here comes to the front and cuts off again. So they spent a lot of time designing this particular version of the Escalade, and it looks really, really cool. The headlights are LED, dual LED headlights, and they also have a daytime running light, which is absolutely gorgeous. And also this particular portion of the light, it's a strip of the light, which is the daytime running light. Very, very cute and very nice design. Good job, GM, with your design on this car. It's still a big car. I'm almost 5'9" in height, and this car is above 6 foot as far as the height is concerned. So that's a cool feature. When we go in the interior, I'll show you guys a lot of cool features that this particular vehicle offers. Again, coming to the side, we do have this running boards or side steps for getting into the vehicle easier and getting off easier. The mirror provides a very nice visibility from inside the vehicle. It's large, and the 22-inch rims, even though they are chrome, they look really good. And these are the normal chrome wheels. And in the versions of the Cadillac Escalade V, they have a special section that the letter V is actually engraved, and looks really nice. Not in this model. They are running off of Bridgestone Alenza, which is a 4-season tire. Provides a very soft and smooth ride. Very comfortable, very quiet. And the interior of the car is a pleasant place to spend some time. And it's roomy, it's big enough to be very comfortable. Coming back to the end, towards the end of the vehicle, we have this brushed aluminum platform that supports around the windows, and also Cadillac emblem on the side, and then the gas cap. Coming towards the end of the vehicle, there are just these rectangular boxes, and as you see when I get close to the vehicle, the lights come on, and these humongous vertical strips of light is actually very beautiful. They had it in the previous model as well, But in the newer model, they have it even more beautifully designed with uh, updated LED lights and very, very cool. Back here, we have the same shape of the V as I mentioned. It comes off a little bit and then cuts off. The rear section again comes down here, right from the center of the vehicle, cuts off. The Escalade emblem here is nicely placed with the chrome shape and 600 indicating the size of the Newton meter of the torque that we talked about. Down here by the spoiler, there's a wiper blade, which is tucked in and looks very good. It's not visible. It gives a very slick and smooth surface to the rear of the vehicle. Two rear view cameras. One is for the mirror, for the rear view mirror, and one is for the backup camera, and does a great job, which I will show you guys inside the vehicle. If you press this rear emblem of the vehicle, uh, the rear hatch will open. Please. Please. There we go. I don't know. So obviously, for the size of this car or SUV, we have a 7-passenger seats, and when you're sitting up front, there's a lot of space to cover in order to get to the third row. But there are keys inside the headliner area by the rear view camera, by the rear view mirror. I'm sorry, or camera rather, that provides with 2 keys that you can actually fold the rear seats. There's also this location, this portion of the panel here that does exact same job as, if I, for example, press this one, you'll see that the seat went down, or if I do this one, it will do the same thing. So very nice and easy. They also come up electronically and assisted. One thing that does not come up automatically as you raise up the rear seats are these folding headrests. So you have to manually bring them up. But the longer wheelbase of the Cadillac provides a lot of space back here. This portion of the Cadillac is approximately 21 cubic feet of space, which is not bad. There is a little bit of a spacing under, which you can place some maybe fragile items, maybe something that you want to be out of visibility. So it's a nice secret compartment for hiding your belongings. And very cool place, very functional. There's also a 120 volt household plug-in here, which you can bring your hair dryer and do your makeup outside of the car for the models that you're going to drive in this car. All right, let's close the door or the rear hatch by pressing this automatic button. And one thing that I was impressed when I was researching about this car and reading, and this is what I have found this morning, that the rear gate is not the same material as the body of the vehicle. You see, this sound is different than this one, because this part, the rear hatch, is not the body material, whether it's aluminum or different kind of metal that they have used for weight saving measures, because this tailgate has to go up and down multiple times for the life of the vehicle. So that essentially subtracts a lot of weight from the the hatch in order to have a better functionality. Let's take a look at the engine compartment and look at the engine itself. Um, so this is it's amazing that even a 6.2 liter V8 is considered a small engine for this car, where there is a bigger engine with a turbocharger, not turbocharger, actually with a supercharger on top of it. So that's an amazing feature. But here is the engine, 6.2 liter V8. A lot of distance from the radiator, which is located right here, all the way to the front bumper. As you see, there's approximately 1.5 feet of distance for safety purposes, which is really nice. Battery location, and the engine and air filter, and fluids for the brake and windshield, you know. So simple fuse box here. Not a clean engine. Sorry, I didn't clean it, but just want to show you that this shape of the engine is different than you get with the Cadillac Escalade V. Those are all handmade engines. These are mass produced. There's also a 10 speed automatic transmission on this, as well as the diesel version. So that's how the ratio is different, and you get a better gas mileage. With this particular engine, you get approximately 16, some reports show, or GM claims 17 miles. Majority of people have been getting about 16 miles per gallon in the city, and about 22 to 23 miles per gallon in the highway, combined of approximately 18 to 20 miles per gallon, which is, for the size of this car, for the size of this engine, and how much gas is required to function this massive beast, I think it's a very good numbers for the economy of this real beast. The key fob of this vehicle looks actually very standard with the Cadillac emblem, but if you get the Cadillac Escalade V, the color of the key fob would be the color of the brake calipers, which if they are red, this would be matching red with the brake calipers. If it's yellow, it will be a yellow matching color, or if it's blue, it will be a matching blue. And also one other cool feature, the majority of Escalades come as four-wheel drive, but they have added a feature on the side panel of the steering wheel. You can put it on auto, which will essentially choose what terrain and what type of mode it requires to drive. You can have it on a two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. And if you're going up on the mountain, crawling up, you can use the assist for four-wheel drive, park, and the light behind the dashboard. So very simple, but yet elegant, chic, and classy. So it's a very good looking design. Here in the interior of the Cadillac Escalade 600, we're welcomed by a very cool dashboard design, as well as this center console that we're looking. So this monitor divides in two, or rather three sections. Right here is the infotainment system. The center brings the attention of the driver to speedometer, fuel consumption, RPM, and some map, viewing, as well as this section of the monitor that has augmented reality section, that once I press on it, I don't know if you can see it from that side, but I will do my best to provide that view for you. If I press it, it automatically turns on the camera in the front of the vehicle, and now uh, I can, for example, just look at this and not even my front windshield uh, to drive. Not that I'm suggesting doing that, but I mean, it's so clear and it's so nice that you can do that. But anyways, it's a great feature that they have added. There is a heads-up display with the speed and also mapping if you have that feature. So this is a great design, very simple, elegant, and chic. They have used shiny wood paneling for this car. In the upper models, such as Platinum, there is a darker wood and kind of satin or matte version of the wood paneling that they have used. Everything as far as the keys are, I would say, okay. And the reason for that is when you come, for example, to the steering wheel or the center console portion, these keys are just plastic. And come on, GM, you know, you're charging $110,000 for this car, and yet you're providing plastic buttons. I think that's a downside of choosing this platform. They can definitely add up keys like these for the volume and radio or voice command, and make it look better, as well as more elegant looking steering wheel. But the size of the steering wheel is really good in the hand, and it's very comfortable. We still have the wood paneling continued in the steering wheel. We also have it added all the way through throughout the seats. And as we look at here in the center console, we do have this large cover that once you press it, it opens up. Two cup holders. There is a cubby hole, a couple of USB and USB-C ports for charging. There is a auto hold button here. The volume knob for the radio or infotainment system is located right here, and the gear knob. One thing that I would like to say, as someone who used to design cars, this shifter, this gear knob, is not the most beautiful gear knob for this car. It functions, it does the job, but I think for a car, again, for such a pricing, they could have done a better job with the design of a gear knob. But I guess I'm not the one to talk about it. One thing that is really cool is this cubby hole, this opening, which is actually the electronic charging pad for the phone, which I'm gonna place my phone. There are some holders, so you press it down, and the phone, as you see, I don't know if you can see, but started. It turned on, which is automatically is charging. In other cars, you have to place your phone, for example, flat on the charging pad, but in this particular model, you just place it inside this opening, and it does a great job. Nothing extraordinary as far as other features that you have. The park button is here, the windows. This car, obviously, the seats are perforated, so we do have the heated and cooled seats with several different levels of heat and cold. And now, one cool thing about this Cadillac, which GM has done such an amazing job, is 38 speakers that they have placed in this car. Every portion of this car has large speakers, and the audio system is extremely well. If you look at the dashboard area by the leather trim here, right behind it, the entire width of the dashboard is a speaker. The entire thing is a speaker, except this little opening, which is for heads-up display, and these two vents for the windshield, um, heat and cooling. Uh, the number of speakers in this car are humongous, 38 speakers, but this is such a large cabin that you want to have a high number of speakers for acoustics and better sounding cabin. But even if you pay attention to behind my head on the seats, there are two speakers. One is right here, one is right here. That even on the passenger seats, there is exact same thing. So you can hear some of the acoustics that you don't normally hear, just like a movie theater, very high quality. And there are also noise deadening, so you can turn them off from the passenger seat. You can turn them off, and you don't have to listen to a lot of noise in case if you want to put your head back and take a nap or something. One thing that also GM has added to this particular luxury vehicle is the panoramic sunroof and moonroof, which opens up a lot of space, feels even more bigger when the panel is off and you can see the sky and outside portions of the vehicle. I want to bring your attention to the rear view camera, or rear view mirror rather, which you are looking at me in the rear view mirror. But if I press this button right here, it's now activated as the rear view camera. In case if you have multiple people in the back seats or large items that you cannot view the rear of the vehicle, you're going to be using this feature, which essentially does a great job. Again, back to normal rear view mirror, and now activated as the rear view camera. Very cool feature. GM has added this. They also had it in the Corvette, the new Corvette C8, with the rear, with the very small rear glass that they have on top of the engine. So looking at the second row of this vehicle, as we are looking, is designed like a captain chairs, and there's an opening, large opening in the center, in order to access the third row seating, and it's very comfortable. Obviously, there are car seats in this car for the lady and gentleman who were nice enough to allow me review their car, and I didn't want to take him off and mess with their setup and adjustments. But I want to show you that there's a lot of room back here. I have sat in the rear seats previously in a different Cadillac Escalade, and I know how comfortable they are, and you just have to accept my words on them. But they're well cushioned and extremely comfortable. Again, getting to the third row sitting, either you can fold down the seat and lift them up to get to the back seat, or you can just walk in front and inside the tunnel here in order to get to the third row sitting. Very cool, very comfortable. There are vents in the ceiling. Each passenger have their own dome lights for reading, just like airplanes. I mean, GM has thought of everything as far as the comfort when it comes to design of this vehicle, and they've done a great job. Again, the only negative about this car that I was mentioning is some of the keys and switches that they have used in the steering wheel along with the panels here that they look plasticky, they look cheap, and you feel like they're not going to last long. But some of the other keys and features are very cool and pleasant. All right, let's take the vehicle for the drive and give you the final impression. This humongous luxury SUV uh, has to have comfortable seats, has to have supportive seats with very good cushions, and it truly does. I am extremely comfortable sitting here to the fact that in a few minutes when I'm done shooting this video, I don't want to return this vehicle to the owner. And that's my truth feeling about this vehicle. Uh, Again, as I mentioned previously, the steering wheel being an electric assisted steering wheel, very comfortable, nicely sized for the hand, and um, the driving position is very nice in this car. The view is not blocked by the A pillars and B pillars, even though they're extremely big and supportive for the airbags and rollover strength capabilities. This car has Android and Apple CarPlay, and when it's uh, when it's on Apple CarPlay, for example, as you can see, it's only occupying about 8 inches of the 38 inch of the monitors, and this portion turns black, but generally looks very sharp. This augmented reality monitor in the front looks lovely. Feels like you're playing a video game, but again, extremely nice. Gear lever in a nice position. Uh, the center console has a nice supportive, cushiony, soft material for the elbow rest, and these these turning signals and wiper blade indicator, they look and feel flimsy, to be honest. And I think, again, for a vehicle that is valued as or valued at approximately $120,000 or up to that level, I think GM should use better materials for this type of engagements. But here we do have these pedal shifters, which I don't find it necessary for such a big car. Majority of people who use this vehicle are parents or maybe for luxury transportation purposes. So I don't think they're gonna race this car or SUV or anything like that. This Cadillac is meant to be driven with style and prestige, like many other cars that I have reviewed in our channel. General Motors V8 engines always sound extremely lovely. I'm gonna push the accelerator for a very short period of time to just listen and hear the engine noise and exhaust through the cabin. Ready? Wonderful transmission. It's a 10-speed single clutch. Feels so fast that you think it's a dual clutch transmission, but it's not. It's a single clutch, and GM has done a really nice job designing their own transmission for this vehicle, and I enjoyed it. It's really cool. Anyways, it was a joy filming this video for you guys. I always enjoy. We're really passionate about what we do, and thank you so much for allowing us again for what we do. This was a fun video. Thank you for subscribing. Please leave your comments. Let us know what we can do to improve ourselves. And if there is anything that I said by mistake, please correct me. I'm always willing to learn more and more every day. Thank you guys so very much, and until next time.